そういうことについての対策を早急にする必要があると。
Efforts also continue to cool down the other failed reactors. The agency says the coolant level has fallen in the number 5 reactor and it can adjust the water levels by using the generator of the number 6 reactor. Currently, we're looking at live footage coming out of the Fukushima nuclear power plant. We'll keep you up to date on the story there. The Japanese government has raised the permissible level of radiation exposure for workers at the affected nuclear plant. The present rules do not allow workers to approach the storage pool in the number 4 reactor building because of the high radiation readings. The Health Ministry announced the revision on Wednesday. The previous radiation limit has been raised 2.5 times to 250 millisieverts. The ministry says this is still lower than the international limit of 500 millisieverts. The measure was adopted to give staff at the Daiichi plant enough time to take measures that will cool the reactors. Experts say exposure to radiation above 250 millisieverts can cause acute health problems, including a temporary drop in the number of white blood cells. The ministry says it reached the decision after fully consulting with experts on possible health effects. We're currently looking at live footage from the Fukushima nuclear power plant. Smoke seems to be billowing from the nuclear power plant. Earlier, we reported that there was a fire that had been seen at the plant. And then we reported that 30 minutes later, there were no flames to be seen. Currently, we are seeing live footage from the Fukushima nuclear power plant. Smoke seems to be billowing into the sky from the plant. We will definitely keep you up to date on this developing story. Do stay with us for more details. Now, earlier, NHK World's Yuko Aotani spoke with Kazuaki Matsui. We will be getting to that report later, that interview later. But let's continue to look at these live pictures coming out of the nuclear power plant in Fukushima. Earlier, we reported that on Wednesday morning, between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., there was flame, or rather smoke, seen at the plant. And then operators there reported that 30 minutes later, no flames were to be seen. And currently at 10:05 local time, we are seeing smoke billowing, continuing to rise up into the sky from the plant. This live footage we're watching from the NHK helicopter shows what appears to be white smoke billowing from near the number 4 reactor at the Fukushima Daiichi plant. Earlier, we reported that there was fire seen at the plant at the number 4 reactor of the Fukushima Daiichi plant. And then staff there, operators, had said that there were no flames to be seen about 30 minutes later. We did report on that. However, currently, as we watch this live footage, we can see that smoke is rising up into the sky from near the number 4 reactor at the Fukushima Daiichi plant. We're looking at live aerial footage from our NHK helicopter flying above the Fukushima Daiichi plant. This is at the number 4 reactor. There was a fire reported earlier this morning, that's Wednesday morning, at the Fukushima Daiichi plant at the number 4 reactor. About half an hour later, staff there, operators, had said that there were no flames to be seen. Now, we do not know if the fire continues there. However, we do see smoke billowing into the sky there. This is a developing story. We will continue to keep a close watch on the activities there and report those details and keep you up to date. Earlier, NHK World's Yuko Aotani spoke with Kazuaki Matsui, who's executive director of the Institute of Applied Energy and an expert on nuclear power plant issues.
And now we're joined by Kazuaki Matsui, who's the Executive Director of Institute of Applied Energy and an expert on nuclear power plant issues. Thank you very much for joining us today. Now, about 3 hours ago, flames were seen rising from the building enclosed the number 4 reactor at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear.
Reading itself, what does this mean? Well, compared to an ordinary situation, it's 10,000 times higher. But in a year, you will be exposed to 2.4 millisievert, meaning that it's 3 times higher than that amount that you are exposed to in an hour. So it is strong. However, it is not an amount that would immediately cause health damages if it is a short time. However, the radiation is going up. The central control room was the area where the TEPCO staff was working, but they have moved to other safer areas. So the employers, the workers, are unable to come close to the plant. Well, it is okay to stay there if it is over a very short time. However, you cannot stay there over a long time to work. The workers are monitoring the accumulated amount of radiation dosage. It is said that up to 100 millisievert is okay. However, if it goes up beyond that, that person will no longer be able to work in the area. So the workers are trying to stay away when the reading is high. But it is not a level that will cause immediate harm to human health. However, just in case, the workers are evacuated to safer locations when the reading is high. This 6.4 millisievert, because of this high reading, right now the operation on site has been suspended. And right now, the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant area, 20 kilometers from this area and from 10 kilometers from Daini is an evacuation area. And from 20 to 30 kilometers from the Daiichi plant, people are told to take shelter indoors. What are the precautions people should take? Well, because the radiation level is high, but as the Chief Cabinet Secretary said in his briefing, this level alone is not going to be used to spread the area of evacuation or spread the area of indoors evacuation. So from the 20 to 30 kilometer area people, if you are staying home, please remain indoors. But even if you are indoors, make sure that you close the windows and please do not operate ventilation fans or air conditioners. Make sure that you do not use them, and also do not hang out your laundry outdoors. And the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, several reactors are in a very serious situation. Reactor number 4, as of 5:45 this morning, flames were seen coming out of the building. And also we have heard that the radiation reading has gone up. Well, reactor number 4, this morning we had seen fire, but yesterday also there was a fire that came out. And this is a photograph taken yesterday of reactor number 4. Yes, after the explosive sound was heard, and also when after flames were seen, it seems that the explosion has caused this wall in front, this light blue and whitish wall has been blown out. This is the external wall of the reactor building, but you can see that the lower part of this building has been blown out. You can see the inside of the building. And also the ceiling of this building, part of that seems to be broken. And right under this building, the spent nuclear fuel pool is located, and it seems that the fire broke out from this area. So probably because the power generator or power was lost, water circulation became impossible, and the fuel rods, the spent fuel rods, could have been exposed and generating hydrogen, and probably a hydrogen explosion was caused.
Next to that, number 4 is the number 3 reactor. And here again, we see that due to the hydrogen explosion, it was 2 days ago that the building was largely damaged. And you can see what inside, there are only the frames of the building remaining. And to the right, we see the number 4 reactor. Now, at the time of the earthquake, this reactor was shut down. And inside the nuclear reactor, there were